Greetings and welcome, or welcome back as the case may be. I know I always say that, but I really am happy to see you here. So I hope you enjoy these little videos. Today's video is going to be about the conclusion, me reading the conclusion to my story, The Red Rider. So, doing a little recap, we've had the Red Rider, who apparently always shows up to deal with hellhounds. She shows up at this small village. She asks where the hellhounds are and goes out to confront them. And she has now met the pack. Battle has been joined. And now we're going to find out the rest, how the battle finishes, and see if she comes out unscathed. All right. That said, let's get into it. As intended, the hound directly behind her got tangled in her cloak when it rushed after her. The other two were closing in quickly, however. Choosing one, she ran at it. She planted a foot as if to leap. The hound snarled and jumped, having become used to her leaps. Instead, she aborted the move and dropped into a slide. She turned onto her back, and as the hound passed over her, she swung her axe and disemboweled it. Hot blood and entrails splashed down onto her, and she screamed. Smoke billowed from her clothes, and skin blistered where the blood touched. Again, the axe flashed with blue light, and the smoldering embers died. The dead hound's body continued on into its packmate, sending both rolling away in a tangle of legs and snapping jaws. Movement caught the Red Rider's eye, and she had just enough time to turn and jam the axe handle into a hound's mouth. It growled and thrashed its head, trying to tear the axe from her hands. She held tightly, though, even as she was thrown about with the beast's fury. Finally, it stopped thrashing and instead bore down with its jaws on the handle. The handle, being merely wood, crunched and splintered. Knowing she had only a second, the Red Rider drew back the splintered butt of the broken handle and stabbed it into the creature's eye. There was an unearthly shriek from the monster, and it leaped away. Pain seared through her leg. The final unscathed hellhound had rushed back in to clamp its teeth on her. It dragged and shook her, a tactic meant to disorient so that it could switch to a more lethal bite, or just rip her leg off. With a loud cry and a mighty heave, she doubled up, swinging herself and the axe head at the hound. Avanaste! The word was spoken as the blade made contact. The hellhound whimpered and went still and silent. Blue light from the axe head surrounded the hound. The rider's breath fogged as the air chilled. She cried out again as the hellhound, its jaws still fastened to her leg, frosted over, and a moment later the creature shattered into 1,000 jagged, frozen pieces. As quickly as she could, she got to her feet and looked for the last hound, the one with only one eye. It stood several yards away, staring at her balefully and with its smoldering eye as blood ran down its muzzle from the empty socket. Without hesitation, she limped toward the creature. Wouldn't do to have it understand how hurt she was. Every step was agony, but she gripped both pieces of her broken axe with white-knuckled intensity and kept walking. The hound tensed and watched her come. With a snarl, it turned and darted off into the woods, disappearing into the shadows and morning mist. The Red Rider watched it go, making certain it didn't return. After a few minutes, she limped over to her scorched, tattered, and still smoldering cloak, dropped the pieces of her broken axe, and stooped to pick up the cloak. She hissed as the motion put pressure on her injured leg, but she took a moment to pat out the worst of the coals before swinging the cloak around her shoulders and fastening the clasp. She reclaimed her axe and pulled the hood up over her head. She took another look around for the last hellhound, but the forest was still and quiet. As the world brightened around her, she limped back to the village. And that's the end. That's my story, The Red Rider. I kind of hope you've enjoyed these 3 days of listening to it. I invite you, if you want to hear the whole thing in one continuous string, of course, go back and look at my Tuesday posts and you'll find it just fine. That said, we're done with the Red Rider. I'm going to ask that if you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'll have more readings for more stories coming in the near future. But for now, have a great day. Goodbye.